Hey, I'm Brett, and welcome to our latest unboxing. This one is the DC Comics Superman, Wonder Woman Dice Masters starter set from WizKids. Now, WizKids has hooked us up with a free copy of this to show off, so we want to be transparent and, of course, let you know about that. But we're big Dice Masters fans here, so really excited to check it out. So, for those who've never played Dice Masters, basically, you take these dice and cards and you build a team, usually about 8 cards and 20 dice, and you battle out with your opponent to see who can get each other to 0 life first. Think of it as kind of a combination of Magic the Gathering and a deck builder game. Now, what's really nice is there's all kinds of sets that come out from Marvel, DC, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dungeons & Dragons, Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can go and mix and match all those different sets to build your team. So you're going to have Spider-Man working next to Superman, Wonder Woman working next to Captain America. Really fun, really entertaining, and a great time. Now, starter sets are a great way to learn how to play the game and get going, and there's only a few of them being released now every single year. Now, we've already seen the Marvel one, which was the Iron Man War Machine set. Now, this one is the DC set with Superman and Wonder Woman. As far as we know, there aren't any other starter sets to be released. So this is pretty key to get going, learn how to play, and get some of the fundamental stuff that you need to play the game. It comes with 44 custom dice, 12 basic action dice, 16 character dice, 16 sidekick dice, 39 cards, 24 character cards, 10 basic action cards, 4 color reminders cards, 1 rule reminder card, rulebook, and 2 dice bags. It's basically enough for 2 players to get going and learn how to play. So we're going to open this up, we're going to show off the cards, go through the starter set, and discuss what we think about it, and see how it kind of stacks up as far as starter sets. Now, first and foremost, of course, we have the rule book, updated rules. Great way to learn the game, kind of go through, and they tend to update the rules with each starter set, so you get a better idea as to the updated rules. Of course, you can also, read stuff online and get things that way, but it's nice and handy to have this in hand. Since there's not many starter sets being released each year, it's going to be harder to get these, and kind of more key to pick up the latest one. But we know the rules, so let's actually open up and look inside what is in the set as far as cards and bags and dice and all of that. So let's start with the bags, just because, we love comics here and comic art. So let's see the art that we get. Some cool Superman art. Of course, the Superman Wonder Woman Dice Masters logo. And I'm guessing this one is all Wonder Woman. Pretty awesome art here. And a little bit different version of that bag as well. And of course, you need the bags to be able to play the game, because you need to pick your dice out of something. The bags are a nice, convenient way to do that. As far as colors you get for the starter set, you look as far as the action cards, you get red, orange, purple, and blue. So pretty standard stuff, nothing jumps out there. That's the color reminder cards. As I said, pretty standard. We've seen those before. But let's look at the reminder card. This is something that they've been doing more and more in the various sets, which is pretty handy. So we've got affiliations, DC Comics Masters, Dice Masters, Superman, and Wonder Woman starter set. We're looking at Team Superman, Justice League, and villains. Player going first, turn only, draws 3 dice, so they've got their information to remind how the new way to start is. Then they draw 1 more, place it out of play. This is the only time the clear and draw step functions differently. The player going second and all the subsequent turns always draw 4 dice from the bags. Basically, it's just a card to let people know about the new beginning rules and remind folks on that and clear it up a little bit more. Nothing crazy there. We've got nothing when it comes to the meaning of the cards or any affiliation stuff, but you should be able to, or not affiliation stuff, but the key terms of the cards. But you can find that in the starter rules itself, so not necessarily needed as much on a card. Let's go through and look at the actual cards themselves and see what stands out, what's going to be a must-get, and if anything changes with this set. Now, We just had a DC set release, the Batman set, which was pretty freaking awesome. So the big question is going to be, how does this release, the starter set release, and synergize with that? See the dice here for Artemis, who I believe makes her debut in the game. Her stats are, actually one die is a little jacked up there, but not a big deal. Well, it is a kind of big deal because it's going to roll differently, but you know, I got it for free. I can't really complain. We got 042, 144, 166 is the stats of the die. First one, Artemis, Shim and Tar. 5 cost bolt when fielded, prevent all damage dealt to your Artemis character dice until end of turn. Interesting. We got the 5 attack, max 4. When fielded, prevent all damage dealt to Sidekick Dice you control until end of turn. And then finally, we're renouncing Olympus, 5 bolt. While Artemis is active, all sidekicks must attack if able. Fairly interesting. Not really a character that I'm going to go and you know, jump ahead. I think or like jump out and go crazy over. I think the one that might be interesting that I could see becoming a pretty one, big deal, is when fielded, prevent all damage dealt to Sidekick Dice you control, because sidekicks are playing such a huge role in the new Batman set, especially with the Dark Side super rare that's out that gives them Swarm. Up next we've got Cheetah. Let's show off that die. I guess it's a cheetah tail is the symbol. It's weird. Kind of looks like an L. I don't know what it looks really inappropriate is what it looks like. That looks inappropriate. Alright, the die is 142, 144, 155. Feline Fury is the first one. A 4 mask. Cheetah gets +1 attack, +1 defense for each opposing non-sidekick, non-villain character die in the field zone. Interesting. So next we've got a 4 mask. This is Goddess of the Hunt. When fielded, KO target opposing sidekick. If you do, draw a die from your bag and prep it. Getting more dice is always a good thing. Next we get Some Manner of Monster. While Cheetah is active, when you field a non-Cheetah villain character die, draw a die from your bag and prep it. That one I can see being useful. So out of the 3, this one, the final one, Some Manner of Monster, seems to be somewhat useful, being able to field a non-Cheetah villain character die and KO a target sidekick, and drawing a die to prep it is pretty good. The +1/+D for each opposing non-sidekick. Actually, that could be kind of helpful as well. Actually, all 3 seem to be pretty helpful. This is a fairly good set of 3 cards. Each have their own uses, if you're, you know, depending on how you play the game. So I'm gonna actually go with, this is a fairly cool version of this character. I don't think we've seen her yet. Or actually, no. Yeah, we definitely have seen her. There is a Cheetah. Giganta, I know that we've seen. So we get 3 versions of her. And she's got actually a pretty cool translucent die. Her stats are 022, 155, and 166. Kind of representing her getting bigger and bigger. We got a 5 cost fist, Dr. Doris Zool. Whenever you or character dice you control are damaged, spin Giganta up 1 level. Pretty basic stuff. I think very similar to previous Gigantas that spun up. When fielded, spin all opposing character dice down 1 level. Again, representing her getting stronger, which it could be pretty cool considering there is some stuff that allows you to bump characters of a lower level, like you have Husk, allows you to do that. And then a 5 fist, while Giganta is active, when a character die spins up, each of your Giganta dice gets +1 attack, +1 defense until end of turn. And then you pay a fist, spin target character die up 1 level. Again, could be pretty helpful of knocking out characters of lower levels. And playing around with that, because there's a lot of stuff that has to do with leveling and getting tougher in this game. So fairly handy. The one I probably like out of 3, kind of like spin all the opposing character dice down 1 level. There's something that seems to be intriguing about that one, especially combo with Husk of the Batman set. I could see that being a pretty good combination and handy. Alright, next we've got Jimmy Olsen, who I'm pretty sure debuts in this game. Let's look at his dice. It is a camera. It's kind of cool. I actually like that die. It's different. His stats, 012, 013, 123. Interesting enough, he is not an ally, it seems. I fully expected you to be an ally. Superman is the affiliation. 2 Fist, pretty cheap. While Jimmy Olsen is active, your Superman and Supergirl character dice cost 2 less to purchase and may be fielded for free. That's pretty awesome if you have a Superman team, though I believe there's other cards to lower your costs. When Jimmy Olsen is KO'd, you may prep a Superman or Supergirl character die in your use pile. Again, fairly handy. Superman's pal, 2 Fist. And finally, another last one, also 2 Fists. Seeing is believing. While Superman or Supergirl's active, global abilities activated by opponents cannot target Jimmy Olsen. Prevent all damage those abilities deal to Jimmy Olsen. That one I'm not so much a fan of. I do like the first 2. Cost 2 less, absolutely. When he's KO'd, you can prep a die in your use pile, Superman, Supergirl, to put in the field. That is actually really, really cool. I like both of those, and I think both can be super handy on a Superman team if that really becomes a thing, and I think it will. I think you're going to see a lot more team affiliations in this game going forward based off of the Batman set and how that works. Alright, next we got Steve Trevor. I believe he also is a debut in this set. Let's find his die. There we go. A little black. 021, 031, 141. Just a cheap weenie character. Got Bachelor in a bind. 2 bolt. No ability. 3 bolt. While Wonder Woman is active, prevent all damage dealt to Steve Trevor, the man from Argus. Interesting. And then finally another 3 bolt. Themyscirian Liaison. When Steve Trevor is KO'd, you may immediately purchase a Wonder Woman die for up to 3 less and prep it. Pretty awesome since there's some abilities that will allow you to KO characters. It's a great way to get Wonder Woman out fairly quickly and potentially pretty cheaply if you play it right. So this one actually is going to be pretty key if you're doing a set around Wonder Woman or a team around Wonder Woman. So that's very interesting. Of course, we got a cheap weenie to get out there. With 4-tack isn't bad. I do like the idea of him helping you purchase Wonder Woman cheaper. I can see that being played around, and you know, teams being built around that. Next up, we got Supergirl, which is interesting because I feel like she's got the Superwoman logo on her die, but you know, we're not going to nitpick there. So this is the die. I associate that more with Superwoman at this point. It's 146, 267, 278. Pretty beast of a character, strong character there. 6 shield, all in the family. While Supergirl is active, prevent all damage dealt by villain character dice to Supergirl character dice you control. When Supergirl deals combat damage to your opponent, you may draw 2 dice from your bag and prep them. Kind of interesting. And then when fielded, if your opponent's life total is greater than yours, gain 3 life for his 7 shield. Really expensive. None of them really jump out as something I really, really like. I have all your powers, guarding National City. I mean, maybe this one to gain life, because, you know, that could be a game changer and really, really helpful. So, but none of them really, yeah, none of them really kind of stand out to me as must-haves in the game. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. All right, next we got Superman, who also looks to be pretty damn expensive in this. So we've got, I mean, the key I think he's going to be using that Jimmy Olsen character, prevent all damage, those abilities. Let's find the Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Pulley, you may prep a Superman character. Yeah, so this, the 2-cost Jimmy Olsen that allows you to purchase Supergirl, Superman for 2 less is going to be, I think, really key to getting some of these out. Alright, so we got Superman's Justice League. 6-cost shield. Phone booth. While Superman is active, prevent all damage dealt by villain characters. Dice, your or your opponent's 2 Superman character dice you control. Let's look at his dice. Pretty cool. I believe we've seen that before in a different color. His die is 146, 267, 278, so he is a beast. So, you know, damage prevention from villains. Interesting. So another 6 shield. Superman gets +1 attack, +1 defense for each energy type you have in your reserve pool. Question marks do not count towards energy types. This is living in a world of cardboard. Interesting. That could be kind of handy. It's definitely different. Maybe we'll start seeing a lot more energy in your pool cards out there. And then we got a 7 cost. When fielded, if your opponent's life total is greater than yours, Superman deals 3 damage to your opponent. A little bit different than the Supergirl. It'd be very interesting to have these two together where you gain life and then knock them down with a nice 6-point swing. That could be handy in this. Let's see here. Next we've got Wonder Woman. Let's find her die. It's actually a pretty die. This one stood out to me. Got a nice tie-dye one. Reminds me of Harley Quinn from, I think, World's Finest. 033135257 is the die. We've got 4 mask, Child of Clay. While Wonder Woman is active, global abilities activated by your opponent cannot target character dice you control. Interesting. So that could be somewhat handy. We got another 4 mask. While Wonder Woman is active, players cannot use the global abilities on character cards on their team. That is going to be very, very handy to be able to stop that, but character cards on their team. Now, the interesting is, can you use the global abilities on character cards on your opponent's team? Because that's not stopped by this. So I think we're going to get probably a question on that one. And finally, with the 5 mask, while Wonder Woman is active, when fielded and when attack abilities are ignored. This could be a pretty big deal. I can see that becoming a... Yeah, I can see that being a big deal. And the Wonder Woman Ambassador of Peace. I mean, both these are going to be interesting to come in. I think both will see some play as some prevention out there. So, yeah. Those are all the characters. There's some good ones. I think there's some that you can expect to see going forward. I mean, the Cheetah, I think, was really, really good. About some of the sidekick stuff. Jamie Olsen's going to be a must if you are playing Supergirl or Superman. And Steve Trevor's going to be a must if you're playing Wonder Woman. And that Wonder Woman about the global abilities and fielded and stuff like that, that's all going to be pretty interesting as well. But now we move on to the basic action cards. Now this is why the starter sets are going to be really, really important, because with only 2 starter sets, we're only going to get a lot. We're going to get a lot fewer basic action cards to be able to use in this game. So this is going to be pretty key. So these basic action cards are going to just get more important. So we've got Dimension Door. Target character die you control cannot be blocked. Yeah, pretty decent. There's a lot of different ways to make characters unblockable. We got a 2-cost Misdirection, which I believe existed before. Swap target character die you control with a character die in your use pile, placing it on the same level. That could be pretty huge. Be able to swap something out and move stuff around. Misdirection I could see being pretty regular in this game. And then, of course, if you get the stars, there's also draw a die from your bag and prep it as well. Alright, next we've got Plot Twist. 5 cost. Drop the 2 dice from your opponent's bag and roll any character dice, returning the rest to their bag. You may field them for free under your control. Place them in your opponent's use pile at the end of the turn. That could be pretty interesting. Resurrection using the DC Rebirth art. Got 4 cost. Roll a die in your use pile and place it in your reserve pool with a global. Pay a shield once per turn on your turn. Draw a die from your bag and prep it. That's going to be huge. We've lost Professor X with the latest rotation of sets, or the first rotation of sets, I should say. So to be able to draw a die from your bag and prep it is going to be huge in this game. It's going to be bigly. So this is going to be a card I think you're going to see a lot of folks pick up as well, just for that ability to be able to ramp up easier. We got Save Civilians. Whenever you field the sidekick this turn, reduce the fielding cost of another die by 1. Draw a die from your bag and prep it. Could be interesting. Also could be very interesting in combination with the Dark Side Super Rare that allows sidekicks to gain Swarm. That I can see some abuse happening towards. We got Small Step for Man. Spin all character dice in the field zone to level 1. Again, nice card that can be screwing around with levels of characters. Combo with that with Hush. And you've got a great way to clear the field if you want. Take cover. Character dice you control gain +2 defense. With the stars, character dice get an extra +3, or target character die gets a +3. You can pay a shield, target character die gets +1 defense until end of the turn. Team up. I feel like we've seen this one before as well, but I could be wrong. So each of your character dice get +1 attack and +1 defense for each different affiliation among your character dice -1. Really interesting. I like the, this is definitely a new one. I do like the idea of playing around with the affiliation dice a lot more. The Outsider, we have seen the Outsider before. That was one of the cards from an OP event from a while ago. We got draw a die from your bag. If it's a villain die, field it on its level 2 side without paying its fielding cost. Otherwise, place it in your used pile. And if it was a Sidekick die, prep this die. Global, pay Fist, a target villain character die gets +2 attack until end of turn. Character dice may only be targeted by this global ability once per turn. Pretty huge card if you're playing villains in this game. As I said, the WizKids seems to be focusing more on team affiliation, so I expect you're going to see villains and Bat and Supes and Justice League coming out a lot more based off of this, as well as the Batman set. We got Truce, which is the final basic action card. KO up to 2 character dice you control. For each character die you KO this way, your opponent must KO a character die they control. We've seen a very similar card to that as well. I can't think of the name, but yeah, we've seen this. Overall, really handy cards in there. There's some that I can definitely see becoming regulars in this. Resurrection being one. Misdirection being one. Misdirection being a huge one. Not being blocked. I mean, basically, like, half of these feel like they're useful, and the other half seem like they at least will be fun to play with. So the set's got some amazing basic action cards. I think this is one of the strongest groupings of basic action cards that's been released in quite a while. I want to thank WizKids for hooking us up with this starter set. It will be out in June, I believe. I could be wrong in that, but we'll get the date in the actual text if possible, or at least a better idea of the date. We'll have some links underneath this video where you can pre-order it. I don't know if there'll be affiliate links, but if they are, we will, of course, have our usual warning. Again, I want to thank WizKids, and thanks so much. You can catch us at the various links that will pop up on this video, and make sure to follow us to catch the latest news, reviews, gameplay, all sorts of stuff. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, keep playing those games, keep rolling those dice, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.